Once upon a time, in Lilville, Boondock County, it was morning, and Flickerly was busy moving his rowboat to the nearby pond. Flickerly was a strong frog. He could pull his rowboat all the way from the side of his little house to the sandy beach of the Lilville pond. "What a beautiful day!" said Flickerly. Once he reached the water's edge, Flickerly gently pushed his rowboat into the pond and quickly jumped inside. Inside the boat there were 2 paddles and an anchor. Flickerly used the paddles to steer the boat in the direction he wanted to go. The sun was beginning to shine, a gentle breeze was blowing, and the flies were hovering in the center of the pond. "What a perfect morning for catching flies," thought Flickerly. After reaching the center of the pond, Flickerly tossed out his anchor. The anchor kept his boat secure in one place. He took a deep breath. The air was crisp and clean. He was so excited. He always feels excited when catching flies. Flickerly looked around the boat, but couldn't find the most important tool he would need in order to catch flies, his fly net. "Oh no," said Flickerly. "I forgot my fly net. What am I going to do now?" He took another deep breath, but this time it was to help him think. Then Flickerly had an idea. He would stand up in the boat and reach for the flies with his froggy hands. He stood up, put a foot on each side of the boat, and whoa! Splash! He fell into the pond. Even though Flickerly liked water, he wasn't ready to fall in. He climbed back into his boat and shook the water off his back. "I won't be catching flies that way," he said. Flickerly brought his anchor back in the boat and used his paddles to steer toward the beach. "I still have time to go back home and get my fly net," he said. When he reached the beach, Flickerly jumped out of the boat and onto the sand, where he used his strength to pull the boat onto the land. He ran up to his house and opened the front door. He walked over to his closet and opened the door to find his fly net right where he left it. As you know, Flickerly liked to be neat and orderly, and Flickerly ran back to the boat and set off again just like before. When he reached the center of the pond, there were a few less flies flying around than earlier in the morning, but Flickerly was able to catch quite a few. That night he made 4 loaves of delicious fly-wing bread. The next morning he walked to his mother and father's house and gave them a fresh loaf to enjoy. He loved his mother and father and loved to make them happy. After a few naps, and after a great day on the pond, it was bedtime. Flickerly washed his froggy face and washed his froggy hands and said his prayers. He slept well because he was so thankful for the pond, the flies, and the delicious fly-wing bread. The end.